Can dogs tell a bad person or cry emotional tears? Before the upcoming video on children reading to dogs in libraries, I want you to watch the following footage before beginning this video. The man in that video is now dead. The girl who can be seen abusing him in the elevator savagely murdered him 2 months after the surveillance cameras captured this harrowing footage. This example, in addition to the recent case involving Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, showed that the man is not always the perpetrator in domestic violence cases. It's true that the man could have easily physically overpowered his girlfriend, but he chose not to fight back. Similarly, Johnny Depp could have easily physically overpowered Amber, but he did not fight back, so therefore the woman was the abuser. Now I would like you to watch the following footage of the girlfriend being arrested after murdering her boyfriend. Let's watch that one more time. Is this the caring, loving angel with a conscience that is seen licking up blood at the crime scene? One of the most persistent and well-known dog myths is the idea that dogs can tell if a person is bad. I've heard so many people say that they trust their dog's judgment on whether they should trust someone or not. They trust their dog over any other human, including themselves. Shouldn't the dog in this video be detecting that she's a bad person? Instead, they are calm, and they are just enjoying the taste of their fallen quote-unquote dad's blood as they slurp it off their murderous quote-unquote mother. As you watch this, also keep in mind the other half of the equation. What kind of person is into dogs and enjoys a dog's company? A good person, right? One of the main tenets of the dog cult is that dogs can detect a bad person. However, a conflicting tenet happens to be the main reason why people own dogs to begin with. Dogs don't judge. Dogs can't judge or discern anything, but human beings can. But if a dog can't judge or discern anything, how can they tell a bad person? As you can see, the tenet that you have been brainwashed into believing is an indisputable lie. I hope that this video helps you see the true nature of the common house dog. Okay, people, now on to a topic that is at least a little less disturbing than that of a fur child licking up his murdered dad's blood off his mom. I'd like to talk about an article I just saw today regarding a discovery about dogs crying emotional tears. All of the scientific evidence up until now reveals that only humans cry emotional tears. So what does this new small study mean? Just because it has spent time around humans doesn't mean an animal can develop the capacity to feel emotions. This is because it has no capacity to feel. Do you really think we have taken wolves, bred dogs from them, and then instilled in them the capacity and the brain regions required to feel emotions that natural animals can't? We are not God, nor should we be playing God. What an animal can and will do, however, is develop survival adaptations unique to the environment that they are in. This discovery that dogs cry emotional tears of happiness is probably happening for the same reason that they make that expression with their eyebrows that wolves can't make. Dogs are man-made and can't even survive on their own. So, their survival adaptations are specifically targeted towards relating to their food source, humans. They have developed a muscle in their eyebrow, the levator anguli medialis, that lifts up their inner eyebrow, making their eyes appear larger, more childlike, and somewhat sad. Wolves do not have this muscle, but 5 out of 6 dogs possess it. Huskies do not, as they are less mutated and more closely resemble their wolf ancestors. Humans respond to this adaptation when they see it by giving dogs food, shelter, and protection. Researchers have found that the dogs who made this expression got adopted faster than dogs that didn't. They also found that humans responded to dogs that had tears in their eyes by wanting to take care of them. This, like the eyebrow movements, does not mean that the dog is feeling the human emotion you think it's feeling. It's just an adaptation to their environment, for survival. These adaptations are manipulative, but not consciously done. Other animals can adapt physically to their environments also, such as rabbits changing from brown to white so that it is not easily seen by predators. Dogs are artificially produced creatures, taken from their own kind, taken from their actual mother shortly after birth to be placed in a lifelong captivity in human homes, without their consent, for a human's ego gratification and entertainment. This is a highly stressful, confusing, and unnatural situation for the dog to be in. Dogs have developed these adaptations because they can't even survive on their own in the way natural animals can, like their wolf ancestors. How terrible and unethical of humans to exploit this. Their natural environment is to be dependent on humans for the rest of their lives, and rely on food from a bag given to them by humans in order to survive. It is not unsurprising that this unnatural beast, in order to secure its food supply, has developed physical adaptations absent in wolves to communicate with humans. Their very lives depend on humans giving them free food and shelter. There is no evidence that any creature cries emotional tears, with the exception of human beings. That means we have a different emotional makeup than animals. Why are you looking for emotional connections with creatures incapable of emotional depth? Why not see connections with your fellow human beings who are capable of emotional connections? The articles I have seen on this new discovery about dog tears did not say anything about the chemical composition of the tears, whether they contain oxytocin, prolactin, or endorphins, as human emotional tears do. So this is most likely only evidence of dogs reacting with another physical adaptation to the return of their food dispenser after they have been left trapped and confined alone, which would be a very stressful and unnatural thing for them. This small study only showed evidence of increased tear production, a very meager increase of 10%, when the dog's food dispenser/slave master returned, but not in any other situation that should make a creature shed tears of emotion. I would like to know if they tested dog eyes for tears in any other situation, such as after they remove puppies from their real mother and separate from their siblings. Do they cry then? If anything, it is showing only a stress relief response at the return of its missing food dispenser. The meager increase in tear production measured on a paper strip could have simply been caused by the excited dog moving around more and inadvertently compressing its tear ducts in response to the return of the missing captor, which would make the paper strip irritate their eyes more, thusly producing slightly more tears. The researchers also tried putting oxytocin drops in the dog's eyes to see if that increased tear production. It did, but this probably doesn't mean that they are emotional tears. It more likely just means that the drops irritated the dog's eyes, as theorized by clinical psychologist Lauren M. Bleisma. What we do know for sure is that humans respond to seeing tears in another, usually with an empathetic and caring response, so the production of tears could be an unconscious, manipulative survival adaptation, just like the development of the eyebrow muscle. This study is far from conclusive or revealing. Another thing that is confusing and suspect about it is that when we cry emotional tears, they are clearly visible. They run down our face. We don't need to measure them on a paper strip to find a tiny 10% increase in tears. It is obvious that we are crying. Researchers also found that when humans looked at a dog that had appeared to have tears in its eyes, the human's oxytocin level increased, which made the human more likely to want to take care of the dog. So this is just another survival adaptation that these creatures, who are completely dependent on humans, have developed to survive. Just because you can lower yourself to enter the oxytocin loop of another species doesn't mean you're supposed to. You may be able to exchange oxytocin with a llama and confuse the animal into thinking you are its mother, but why would you want to? Stop trying to find humanity in man-made species and have relationships with humans instead, creatures that you don't purchase, own, or keep confined all day. Wouldn't you rather know a human loved one is happy to see you?